On paper, Amara's life looked complete. She had a good job, a cozy apartment, and people who cared about her. From the outside, everything seemed fine. So, why did she wake up so many mornings feeling like she was already behind? Not behind a deadline, not behind at work, just behind. As if everyone else had been handed a map, and somehow hers had never arrived. She could not explain the feeling. She only knew it followed her. And what she eventually discovered changed the way she saw her life forever. Before we go further, I would love to know something. What time is it where you are right now? And where are you watching from? Tell me in the comments. And if stories that gently change the way we see life are the kind of stories you enjoy, I would love for you to subscribe. Now, let me tell you about Amara. Every morning began almost the same. She woke up, made coffee, stood by the kitchen window, and watched the city wake up. Then she went to work. Nothing about her life looked extraordinary, but nothing about it looked broken either. She worked at a marketing agency, paid her own rent, called her mother every Sunday, helped coworkers whenever they needed her. If you had met Amara, you probably would have said she was doing well. For a long time, she believed that too. Until every evening, almost without realizing it, she reached for her phone and began scrolling through other people's milestones. A friend had bought a house, another had started the business she always dreamed of. Someone from college was living across the world, posting beautiful sunsets and smiling faces. None of them meant to make her feel small. But somehow, they did. Every photo seemed to whisper the same thing. You're late. And slowly, Amara began to believe it. I should be further along by now. The strange part was, she did not even know what further along meant. Further than who, toward what, by whose timeline, she didn't know. But every time she saw someone else's success, her own life felt smaller. Then, on an ordinary Tuesday, her manager asked if they could talk. Amara followed him into his office, trying not to get her hopes up. But deep down, she already had. For months, she had imagined this conversation, the promotion, the new responsibilities, the feeling that maybe she was finally catching up. But her manager looked at her kindly and said, "We need someone who feels a little more ready." For a moment, everything became still. Amara nodded and thanked him for his honesty. Then she walked out. She crossed the parking lot, got inside her car, and rested both hands on the steering wheel. For a long while, she simply stared through the windshield. Then, the tears came. Not only because she had not been promoted. That was just the surface. What really hurt was everything underneath. Every comparison, every invisible finish line, every time she had looked at someone else's life and wondered why hers never seemed to be enough. She cried until the tears finally stopped. She did not know what to do next, but she knew where she needed to go. Her grandmother's house. By the time Amara reached Nadia Street, the sky had turned deep blue. The porch light was already on. Amara parked outside and sat there for a moment, trying to gather herself. She had not called ahead. She had not prepared what to say. But before she could knock, the door opened. Nadia stood there in her soft cream cardigan and long floral dress, looking at her with the kind of tenderness that did not need an explanation. She opened her arms, and Amara stepped into them. For a few moments, neither of them spoke. Nadia just held her. Later, they sat together in Nadia's kitchen while the kettle warmed on the stove. At first, they talked about ordinary things, the weather, her garden, a recipe Amara still had not learned to make. Neither of them mentioned the promotion, neither of them mentioned the tears, until the truth finally slipped out. "Grandma, I feel like everyone else is moving forward, and I don't even know what I'm trying to catch." Nadia was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Would you do something for me?" Amara nodded. "Of course." Nadia pointed toward the cabinet. "Take out 2 drinking glasses, fill one all the way to the top, and fill the other only halfway." Amara looked confused, but she did it. A few minutes later, the 2 glasses sat side by side on the table. One was full, the other was only halfway. Nadia asked, "What do you see?" Amara looked at them. "One is full, the other isn't." Nadia smiled. "And which one is doing better?" "The full one," Amara said. Nadia nodded. Then she asked, "Are you sure?" Amara looked again. At first she saw the same thing. One full glass, one half-empty glass. Then she noticed something. The half-empty glass was bigger. She picked it up and held it beside the other. "Wait, it actually holds more." Nadia smiled. "It does." The glasses had not changed. The water had not changed. Only the way Amara was looking at them had changed. Nadia said, "Most of us spend our lives comparing how full our glass looks, but we forget to ask whether we are even looking at the same size glass." Amara said nothing. She was no longer thinking only about the glasses. She was thinking about the friend with the house, the coworker who seemed ahead, the classmate living across the world. For years, she had compared her life to theirs without knowing their whole story. Nadia continued, "You can see someone's success. You can see the celebration. You can see the result, but you almost never see what came before it. The disappointments, the help they received, the sacrifices, the years. No one noticed." Amara looked back at the two glasses. For the first time, she wondered if the problem had never been her life. Maybe she had simply been measuring it the wrong way. Then Nadia said, "The next time you see someone else's success, before you decide what it means about your life, remember this: you don't know their whole story." Amara looked down at the glasses. For the first time, those words felt different, because now she could see them. Nadia continued, "And before you go to bed each night, find one thing that made your own glass a little fuller. It does not have to be big. A kind conversation, a difficult decision, a promise you kept, a small step forward. They all count." She paused for a moment, then added, "Some days, your glass won't feel any fuller. Fill it anyway." Amara looked down at the glasses again. Then Nadia said one last thing. "The more time you spend measuring someone else's glass, the less time you spend filling your own." The room grew quiet. Then Nadia smiled softly. A new way of seeing doesn't arrive all at once. It grows, one small choice at a time. Those words stayed with Amara. The next morning, her life looked almost exactly the same. She woke up in the same apartment, made the same coffee, went to the same job. Nothing around her had changed, only the way she was beginning to look at it. Later that day, someone she knew announced a promotion online. For a moment, the familiar feeling returned. Then another thought followed. "I don't know their whole story." She set the phone down and went back to her day. That night, before going to bed, she opened a small notebook and wrote one sentence. "Today I finally shared my idea during the meeting." The next night, she wrote another. "I called Mom before she called me." A few days later, "I went for a walk instead of scrolling." None of those moments would appear in anyone else's highlight reel, but together, they were quietly filling her own glass. And one night, she wrote something different. "I'm not behind. I'm right where I need to be." Some days, comparison still found her, but it no longer stayed as long. Little by little, Amara stopped measuring her life against stories she did not fully understand. She began paying attention to the life she was actually living. And maybe that is something we all need to remember. Sometimes, we look at someone else's life and decide ours is not enough. Not because it is true, but because we are comparing two stories when we have only read one of them. So, before you compare your life to someone else's, pause for a moment. Remember the two glasses. What looks full is not always greater, and what looks unfinished may already be holding more than you realize. Then ask yourself one simple question. What made my own glass a little fuller today? It does not have to be extraordinary. A promise you kept, a conversation that mattered, a difficult step you finally took. Sometimes real progress is so quiet that we mistake it for standing still. But it is not. It is growing, one ordinary day at a time. Now, as Amara's story settles, Let's pause with a few words and expressions from her journey. Words you can take with you, not only to understand the story more deeply, but to recognize moments like these in your own life. Before we say goodbye, take this gentle invitation with you into the week. Tonight, before you close your eyes, pause for a moment and look back on your day. Find one small thing that made your glass a little fuller, a kind word, a moment of peace, a reason to smile. Write it down. It doesn't have to be big to matter. Tomorrow, return to the page and do it again. If Amara's journey helped you see your day with gentler eyes, I'd love to hear from you. What quietly filled your glass today? Leave it in the comments. I read everyone, and every answer becomes a small reminder that even ordinary days can hold something worth noticing. And if this story touched you, give this video a like, share it with someone whose glass feels emptier than it is, and subscribe to stay with us. Until next time, keep filling your own glass